If you're just joining us, again, we are simply waiting for our official scores to be ready so we can move on with the position round. It is the final game. Final game of the tournament proper, and then we move on to the step ladder finals, of course. I see recap sheets being distributed currently, so we are just moments away. I see scores scrolling in the building.
Do you know what I just realized? Wei could be the oldest person on the show.
Yeah, how about that?
That's wild.
What brought your attention to that?
I was looking at my screen, and 4 out of the 5 that are on the show currently were on the screen, and I realized that Wei was the oldest person sitting there. And then I looked up, and I was like, who's the 5th person? Marissa Carey. That's got to be one of the younger shows we've had on tour, because I always feel like there's one person that's very experienced. You know, whether you have a Kelly or a Liz or a Danielle, a Stephanie, a Liz Colgan, whatever, whoever it may be, fill in that slot. There's always one person who's very experienced.
Yeah, Wei is 33 years old. And obviously with regard to shows, she's made 2. And the 2 she made, she won.
Casual. That's very
season,
casual.
This season. So she's got 9 shows to her credit. From a show perspective, though, the edge here would go to Jordan Snodgrass.
Mm-hmm. What would this be? You said 26?
This would be
27?
27.
27. She's at 26.
This would be 27. All right, you see players moving. The traffic is freeing up. 15, 16, 17, and 18. 1, 2, 3, 4. 19, 20, 21, 22 will be 5, 6, 7, and 8. At this point, it would take a phenomenal effort from Rocio or Stephanie Johnson or Shayna Ung, and another disaster, to keep it frank, from Marissa Carey for Carey to then drop completely out of the top 5. And so, as you said, Sid, get back to the process. About the 10 frames. That's one of those things, to me, it feels like, right, when it's right there for you and you just want to go out and get it quickly, right, because you can see it, right? It's right there for you. You just got to reach out, grab, and pull it in. But there's still some time that has to be taken and some steps, even now, to still get to the carrot. That's Marissa Carey right now.
Yeah, I had the opportunity for the last 2 years to hear a lot about a man that I admired a ton from a distance, and that was Randy Stoughton. And one quote I heard that he said a lot was, the hardest time to win is when you're supposed to. And that's a bit of what Marissa's feeling right now. Probably, you know, she's had such a dominating look on this pattern until, you know, Lauren really figured him out this round. You would have said, no question, Marissa Carey has the best look, period, let's move on. And so that's hard. That's a hard place to play from, especially for your first show. So she just has to figure out a way to ignore all the noise, because that's what it is. It's noise. Everything that's going on. The only thing that really matters is slide where I want to, hit my target, use the information, move on. Throw the next frame. 10 quality process-oriented frames.
Yeah, the way it stands right now, 55 games completed here at the 2025 U.S. Women's Open. one game left to see who will make the top 5 stepladder finals, and we'll give you a rundown here of the top 5 currently. Lauren Russo took the lead like we had just mentioned. She is plus 792. She's got 1545 for her 7 games tonight, a 5-2 match play record tonight, and she has a 44-pin lead currently over Crystal Elliott. Crystal in second at plus 748. Crystal with a win by 15 would surpass Lauren. And I'm not going to say take the lead because of how close this race is. Jordan Snodgrass and New Wei Finn are tied for third at plus 702.
Competitors, please report to your starting pair.
The winner in that match will be the higher seed. Just depends on how the order falls out. Marissa Carey goes to 5th, goes from the lead to 5th, plus 697, just 5 back of Jordan and New Wei Finn. So we could see a lot of movement here from 2nd to 5th. I mean, really from 1st to 5th, it's only 95 pins from 1st to 5th, but going into last game, it was just 41. And this is the largest gap we've seen from 1st to 5th in at least 3 games. Rocio Restrepo is on the outside looking in. She's currently 6th place at 112 back. Stephanie Johnson is 7th, 119 back. And Shayna Ung is 8th at 130 back. In the nicest way possible, it would take a miracle for one of those 3 to get there. Rocio would have to win by 83 to surpass Marissa.
All right, Sun Valley, here we go. The final game on lanes 15 and 16. We have a new tournament leader in Lauren Russo, looking to make her first major title championship round. And Crystal Elliott, our rookie of the year, also winning team trials and U.S. Amateur, a great 12-month period for her. Her first career major stepladder appearance on lanes 17 and 18. The 2 ladies leading the player of the year race, Jordan Snodgrass just winning title number 6 and New Wei Finn winning her 4th title. Who's going to come away with that one? On lanes 19 and 20, Marissa Carey, the young buck, a 4-time All-American, versus Rocio Restrepo, a new mom, only 80 pins back. 4-time champion, and she's getting back into form. But there are a lot of bonus pins, guys, and Stephanie Johnson, a 4-time champion, could have a big game and make this quite interesting. Competitors, you may now take 1 practice shot on each lane.
Practice shots.
I'm so sorry. They struck, so they want to count it.
That's fantastic.
Sorry. I've never seen a squad so excited to take their practice shots.
I feel like they're so excited because the madness of the U.S. Open is over for at least 16 of them. They're looking at this and going, I've got one more game. And then the mental beating is over.
10 frames. 10 frames.
But for potentially 8 of these players, still fighting for a major on the PWBA tour.
It'll be Russo versus Elliott. Snodgrass versus Way.
All right, Sun Valley, here we go. $60,000 on the line. 56 games, but only 1 green jacket. Let's give these ladies a huge round of applause. Who's gonna make our show here at the 2025 U.S. Women's Open?
Quick look at Marissa Carey, Rocio Restrepo, and Stephanie Johnson, Shayna Ung. This action should be going pretty quickly. Everything around these matches will definitely be going quick. Players are just trying to smile and get on out the way. But Rocio, Stephanie Johnson, Shayna Ung, still with a fighter's chance. So you never quite know if, again, a big game from either of those competitors. And of course, it would have to take more trouble from Marissa Carey. The gap is 112 pins between 5th and 6th. Obviously, some battles for seeding on the line as well. The battle for the top seed is still up for grabs also. With Snodgrass, of course, and White tied for third, currently at plus 702. And wow. Okay. I'm sure Crystal is thrilled to see that. Snodgrass out with an early double. Way has just continued to. These two look like basically, you know, they just carried it right over from Cleveland, Sid. And we remember, although it didn't go Jordan's way, great shot there for Crystal Elliott in the opening event of the Cleveland Open. She did lead that event after round 1. Had some ball reaction issues in round 2 and ended up missing the cut to match play. But she still bowled pretty well, all things considered, in that first event. So she made 2 shows, didn't win in Cleveland, brought that energy to Waterloo.
And really, I think it started at the Queens.
Yeah, she had a great run there, too.
She had a great run at the Queens.
It didn't take her long to get back into form. She told me in Topeka. And of course, you know, now knowing more about the story and expanding after she's won, thinking about all of the non-bowling that she did leading up to the start of the new year, that she hadn't been bowling a ton, so she wasn't quite sure what the first stop was going to look like, but it only took basically a stop to kind of get her back into proper form, and she has been fantastic. Lauren Russo has been great today across both blocks, too. 145 over through 7 games is Lauren Russo. 14-9 match play record. Again, Marissa Carey goes from 1st to 5th in Game 7. This is position round. Game 8. Rocio is 6th, 112 pins back. Stephanie Johnson starts with the front 3. And of course, obviously, right, that's the one of the things about position round. You're bowling next to players who could come up and swipe your spot And that's what Marissa Carey, obviously bowling against Rocio, but just next door. As mentioned, if either Steph or Shayna put together a big game, they're going to continue to put and apply pressure on Marissa Carey.
Good look at Crystal Elliott here. Quality shot. Oh. 8-pin and 9-pin on that lane. That's gross. Icky.
Again, just for if anyone missed it, the scores, they weren't online briefly, and they are online as of now. So let me make sure you have those in case you missed them at all. Lauren Russo in the lead at plus 792. Crystal Elliott is second at plus 748. There is a tie for third between Jordan Snodgrass and New Wei Finn at plus 702. Marissa Carey is fifth at plus 697. Rocio Restrepo sixth at plus 585. Stephanie Johnson is seventh at plus 578. Shayna Ung eighth at plus 567. And Shayna's 130 pins back, and that's about where you'd have to stop it. Jillian Lim ninth at plus 517. What a tournament she's had. Unable to put together games late. And fell in the standings. Brittany Smith 10th at plus 478. Again, top seed is on the line. One game to win the U.S. Women's Open, the coveted green jacket, and $60,000 sounds pretty enticing to me.
Yeah, and both those players bowling for their first major title potentially has to add that little bit of extra pressure.
Well, Sid made a good point just about experience, right? And Jordan is the most experienced in regards to show count. And everything that we know about Jordan, and especially watching her compete, says, this start says, I want to be the #1 seed. Russo opening 2 out of the first 3 frames. Jordan looking for 5 in a row. And will not get a break.
Yeah, my mind with Jordan even goes back to our tour championship show at Thunderbolt for 2024. Jane ended up winning, but just how good she was on the show, you know, I felt like really anybody could win that one. And it feels like she's just, momentum is just rolling for her.
We are late 2 in the block, folks, and yeah, we've been talking about it all, really every day. The last couple about what happens late in this block as the ice oil continues to push down, all the traffic fronts go away. It becomes very difficult. We talked about it too, Sid, and hearing about it a little bit. Thinking it's, you know, just bad ball reaction to a degree, but you know, some of these pairs have been tricky as well as they've crossed the bays, if you will.
Yeah, all of them are a bit tricky and in their own way. You know, so a different bay may serve a different player better. You know, we heard Matt Russo talk about how this high-end bay down here was good for Lauren. You know, she can throw it a little bit faster. She can be herself. Down there, could be not so much based on just her results here through the first 5 frames. That left lane seems a bit tricky for her. I feel like every time we go to the JT cam, I see 6. JT, what are you doing down there? Red circles. Huge
Big
double.
Absolutely.
We had the same thought.
That's like a whew. You know, it's not quite a breathe easy, but you just want to see the pins or the ball hit all 10 in the pit, go through the pins, 2 consecutive frames. Of course, everyone else around these players speed bowling. They've had enough and just trying to get on out the way.
Yeah, to give you guys an idea, down here on the high end, we're already in frames 8 and 7.
There was one U.S. Open, maybe 2, where someone nearly shot 300 or did shoot 300. Yeah, they weren't involved, of course, in the action per se, but they did shoot 300. And what was happening with the position round and the 5 players or 6 who were in contention, like we barely even had a chance to get down to where the 300 actually took place. There's some opportunities for those other players to move up.
Yeah, I think something to note about this 1-2 match right now is that Crystal with a win by 15 goes around Lauren. Lauren's only got the lead by 44 ahead of Crystal. There is a little bit more of a gap for Lauren from seeds 3 through 5, but not a large gap in terms of bonus pins when it comes to those 2. How about New Wave Fen, back-to-back conversions with the 2-8 with the spare ball?
I was just thinking that.
The things you see at the U.S. Open.
She's just really good, too.
That too, yeah.
3 really good shots in a row for Marissa Carey. Ring 10 there. Big shot there for Lauren Russo.
Take that left lane. That's what she's thinking.
Snodgrass can max at 256. And she is currently tied with Wei at plus 702 entering this 56th and final game.
It's amazing how many games these players bowl for it to come down this close. And it seems like every single time it gets this close.
Well, if Jordan can finish this game, of course, she'd get 30 bonus pins. That would move her total to plus 788, and she'd be making both Crystal Elliott and Lauren Russo sweat. White can still shoot 220. Stephanie Johnson max is 234. With Marissa Carey's couple of strikes, 3 out of the last 4. Starting to look pretty darn good for Marissa. Way trying to improve her seed as best as she can as well. Of course, there's a ton of strikes obviously going around where, you know, everyone's kind of turned their brains off a little bit, right? No one's truly thinking about what's happening. I'm talking about players not in the mix at the moment. Oh, and the 4-9 goes for Crystal Elliott. Crystal came out the gates today, 268, 223, 245, setting the tone. She was going to be in the mix. Snodgrass here. That's another one. Key 10th frame here for Jordan Snodgrass. Now firmly in the mix for the top seed. Again, if Jordan shoots 256 at the 30, she will finish at a 788 max, or total, excuse me, plus 788. 7-pin, thought about it. It goes down, and a big exhale from Jordan.
It's a big spare there for Lauren as well. 2-8 is not easy at this. Your key to know that was way going straight at it. Not once, but twice.
Again, too, in these matches, only one player, right, can get the 30 bonus pins. But it would have taken a big effort for Steph and Shayna. Same thing for Rocio, of course, who would have needed the match and have a big game, but Snodgrass now. A couple of games ago, Jordan was outside of the top 5 by 11 pins, crosses over, and how about that? Boy, for someone who hadn't had a ton of breaks on some shows late, that's a huge one there for Russo in the 9th. Snodgrass crosses over and gets a break and is going to be in the 250s. And Crystal Elliott now, her max is 213. If Crystal strikes out, and of course gets the win, that would be 791. Keep her 3 pins in front of Snodgrass, who was already in the 250s. One will fall. Nice game by Jordan Snodgrass. And that was fast. 788 for Jordan.
In the clubhouse.
So Jordan is already around Lauren. That's if Lauren does not win the game. Right, she cannot shoot 200. So it's only going to be bonus pins that could help. Marissa Carey doing a nice job, right? You're talking about managing things. Much better situation. Someone mentioned in the chat, you know, the position around break, that probably helped.
Yeah, she was joking around with Jane Sin back here.
Wow, 7-10 there for Crystal Elliott.
That changes this whole story.
Wow.
A double, she would have shut out Lauren and got the bonus pins. Now Lauren with the first one in the 10th can win the game.
Team, I'm bad at math. Can Lauren maintain the #1 seed?
Yes.
Yeah, she can. She has to win. That's why that situation was so vital. It was a must-have on the win for Russo because of because of Jordan's 250 game. How about this? Russo. 2-8. Not even going to win the game. Jordan Snodgrass from a tie for third to the top seed. Wei Finn, by the way, at 7-11. Snodgrass, again, 788.
What a game by Jordan.
She made it look so easy.
Right. Right now, I just want everyone to know, like, they're hard down there. They are hard. I promise you that Lauren and Crystal did not just forget how to bowl.
You saw what was brewing for Jordan. You start talking about she could make Crystal and Lauren sweat a little bit. And now with these games from Russo and Elliott, Marissa Carey still can move and improve her position from fifth to as high as third.
So Lauren goes from first to third right now. Jordan has gone around her, and Crystal is around her.
Unbelievable.
That was a good one.
So Lauren Russo is going to be at plus 757. Crystal Elliott should remain at 748. Marissa Carey now the best she can do is 702, and that's not going to be enough to jump either way. Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't add her bonus pins. I beg your pardon.
That's assuming she makes the spare.
That is correct.
Spare made. The best she can shoot this game is 205. You add the 30 bonus to that. 35 more to her total.
Heard about some weather reports in the area, but right now inside this building, Jordan Snodgrass has controlled the weather here. We've had so many turns of events in the last couple of games. Marissa Carey going from first to fifth. She actually is going to now settle into fourth, if our math is correct. Snodgrass is going to go from third to first. She was out of the top five about midway through the block, not by much. By the way, too, folks, Jordan Snodgrass, and I got to give my guy Aaron Smith a lot of credit also to Facebook. He sent me a Facebook memory that I tagged him in. It's a show that I actually missed, but 7 years ago today, Jordan Snodgrass won her first PWBA title at the Greater Harrisburg Open in Mechanicsville, Pennsylvania. She is now going to be the #1 seed for the U.S. Women's Open Championship.
Wow.
So to be Jordan Snodgrass, looking for, how many, that's 4 shows in a row.
Round of applause. What a week of bowling.
Yeah.
For
4
Jordan.
different
Yes.
patterns, only allowed to use
4 shows in a row.
What a grind.
Looking for her
Welcome
first
to the US
major,
Women's
second
Open.
consecutive
It is
title
my
this
pleasure
season.
to announce our top 5 for our live
She might be
step
better
ladder
than she was in
finals happening
2023.
tomorrow night
She won
at
Player of
6
the Year.
p.m.
What's her
Our
second
number
consecutive
5
title
seed
match for a
has
major?
already won 2 titles this season.
She bowled for the
She's looking for
title at the
number
Tour
3.
Champs last year.
4 titles overall from Singapore. Please welcome New Wei Finn. In the opening match, she will face our number 4 seed, a 4-time All-American, making her first career stepladder, and it's the U.S. Women's Open. From Hobart, Indiana, please welcome Marissa Carey. She will go on to face our number 3 seed, the 2024 PWBA Rookie of the Year 2025 Team Trials Champion, looking for her first major title from Palm Bay, Florida, Miss Crystal Elliott. Our number 2 seed broke through last season for her first title, and she's looking for her first major. From O'Fallon, Missouri, please welcome Miss Lauren Russo. And our number 1 seed is making her 4th straight stepladder appearance. She just won title number 6, but she's looking for her first major. The 2023 PWBA Player of the Year, Miss Jordan Snodgrass. Ladies and gentlemen, these are our top 5 for our live stepladder finals happening tomorrow evening at 6 p.m. on CBS Sports Network. We thank you all for coming out all week. You have been amazing, Lincoln, and we hope that you show out tomorrow. $60,000, but the coveted green jacket and Crystal Eagle is on the line. The opportunity to put their name in history. Make sure you come out. Sun Valley Lanes, the 2025 U.S. Women's Open. Also, ladies and gentlemen, the weather is a little leery outside, so please be careful. Everyone travel safely tonight.
What a show that we're going to have tomorrow night on CBS Sports Network, 6 p.m. Central Time is when you're going to want to tune in. Stands out to me, Jordan Richard.
Yeah.
Four shows in a row. The last 2 out of 3 majors in a row.
Incredibly impressive performance that last game, too. Bowling 250 plus the last game.
Yeah, shoots 256.
She was 90 out of the lead with a game to go.
Match play is wild. That's what's crazy. You know, we're looking at that group standing in front of us. We have 2 players with no titles. 1 player with 1 title. It's a standard. Another, it's escaping me how many titles Wei has. But she just won 2 back-to-back in Cleveland. Emil, can you refresh my memory about how many titles Wei has?
4.
4 titles for Wei, looking for number 5. And then all of a sudden, Jordan Richard, although she's not the oldest on the show, is by far the most experienced.
It feels like the way this thing is shaped out. And she knows, right? Because she's been in these moments now before multiple times that you can't get ahead of it. But it just feels like this might be the one for Jordan. 1 game. Nice breakdown for all of you with regard to the number of titles.
Enjoy your 2 weeks.
And good folks, we certainly appreciate you tuning in. That was a phenomenal week, and it was certainly a phenomenal day of bowling. Congrats again to Marissa Carey, who to lead for as long as she did. That deserves a lot of credit. And she could have faltered and said, you know what? things aren't going my way and fell completely out of it, but she did not. And she hangs on and will be the number 4 seed and will be in that opening match. Of course, we know that the opening match determines a lot just in regards to the what's going to happen for the rest of the matches in regards to the stepladder finals. But either way, it's going to be very darn good. Did we miss anything?
I don't think so.
Okay. What time's our show?
6 p.m. Central. 7. What is that called? Eastern.
6 p.m. Central, 7 p.m. Eastern Time. Again, on CBS Sports Network. You will hear the voice and see Sydney Brummett tomorrow along with Dave Ryan. They will have the call for you again on CBS Sports Network, 6 p.m. Central, 7 p.m. Eastern Time. Want to thank first the tournament staff. Zach Singer, Robin Graves, Gary Brown, Donovan, Devin, our video production squad, Caleb Smiley, Curtis Von Kruger. We've got to tear down some stuff and get out of the TV show's way. I want to thank Justin Bone. Fantastic job. Great week, Justin. We appreciate you. Again, big thanks to Jason Thomas. Big thanks to Sydney Brummett. Big thanks to all of you. Thank you to the United States Bowling Congress and the USBC Board, the Bowling Proprietors Association of America and the BPAA Board, the Professional Women's Bowling Association, Kegel, the official lane maintenance provider of the PW. All right, we're going to have Jordan real quick. We have someone. That's fantastic. So wait, folks. We're going to talk to Jordan. Okay. Jordan.
Hi.
Hi. How about that?
Yeah. How about that?
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Did you, what was, just tell me what was going through your mind, because that happened so fast and it looked like you were just trying to, get through the game. I'm sure not counting score per se, but I'm sure you knew you had a chance with a big game to at least give yourself an opportunity to get to that top spot.
I wasn't sure exactly what I needed to get to the top spot. I wasn't sure how far I was from Lauren. Ironically, I did turn around after the first one in the 10th, and I looked at Frank and I said, doesn't matter. But thankfully I went Brooklyn, and they found my way, and I got to the top spot.
Yeah, I said after that Brooklyn carry, I was like, she's been on the other side of a few of those
Yes,
things
I have.
and the breaks and such, so
Yes.
it might be time for that to come back around.
Yeah.
Just talk about the day briefly.
Oh.
This pattern has been giving folks fits, but it seemed like the first half of each block was really good, and then things start to kind of falter, and you have to be paying attention to ball reaction. How did you navigate all of that?
The first 8 games that we had on this pattern, I thought were going to go way differently. I didn't bowl great, so we kind of came in with a new game plan for the night block. I shot 200 almost every game except the last one, and I was lucky enough to be on the winning side of every one of those except the last game, so that really saved me. And then going into this morning, we did something different with one of my balls. I threw one ball last night, and then this morning I threw the same ball for 6 games, and then I got into something different, and that's kind of when I started to struggle because I didn't know what ball to go to, and my ball reaction wasn't that great. And then this afternoon, we started with the same ball, and it looked horrible, and I got through one game, and I shot 160, and we went to the low end with Rob and tried something new, and it just happened to work.
And tomorrow you'll have an opportunity. It's really rare at this event to be able
Yeah.
to change your ball card, but you have the opportunity to do that tomorrow, knowing that you're bowling later in the stepladder finals, knowing that that's when it started to get a bit wishy-washy.
Yeah.
Will you make a change to your ball card, drill something? Is that running through your mind at all?
Rob said we're going to drill. I don't know exactly what we're going to, but he did say we are.
Yeah, you had a lot of trust in him down there.
Yeah.
It seems like you went to an Ion Pro Solid.
Yes.
Is that something that you threw a lot during the week or just in match play?
I threw it a little bit during the week. It's funny. I feel like every U.S. Open we come out with balls and you want to put them on your card because they're new, but you're not sure what exactly they're going to do. And I think when I threw them a little bit in qualifying, they didn't do exactly what I wanted to do. So I hadn't thrown that ball really until I switched to it down there. And Rob was like, we just have to find something that I've been struggling with getting the ball right off my hand all week. It's no secret. And I finally saw something that I liked, and I just got in a groove.
Yeah, I think the one thing we have to ask about is we saw you lose your thumb
Yeah.
and then had
Yeah.
still a good finish to the block.
Yeah.
I would love for you to just tell the younger players that are out there with interchangeables about that experience and what allowed you to continue to be successful after that happened.
It's not the first time that I've lost a thumb, and it's part of the whole having an interchangeable, but I always have extra. And as soon as I lost it, I just put a different one in and just kind of went with the flow. They couldn't find it at first. I was lucky enough that they did find it because that thumb is like my baby. But my thumb and my hand is going through it right now, and so it's not even the thumb I used today. So maybe this new thumb will be my favorite thumb.
I love that. Congratulations. Best of luck tomorrow.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
we're going to get you out of here.
you so
So
much.
enjoy the night and get yourself ready for an opportunity at U.S. Women's Open title.
Thank you.
All right. That is Jordan Snodgrass, ladies and gentlemen. And with that, how's that look? We got to get Sid in here. How about we do this? Hit that button there. There's some TV items for you to look at real quick. And then we're going to close this thing out here as best as we possibly can. It is what it is. Okay. All right, so I was just about done with all of our situations, Sid. So we've got, again, Sid, Justin, Jason Thomas, Curtis Von Kruger, Caleb Smiley, you, the Bowl TV community, PWBA athletes, fantastic, USBC board, the BPAA board, and everyone involved. Congrats to all of our finalists. You can watch tomorrow, 6 p.m. Central, 7 p.m. Eastern Time, right here, or not right here on Bowl TV, on CBS Sports Network. So for all involved, my name is Emil Williams Jr. We say so long for now. Enjoy the show tomorrow. This has been a presentation of the 2005 U.S. Women's Open. You watch it live and only on Bowl TV. And remember, bowling lives here. Good night, folks.